hot summer day. I was riding in the passenger coming from nowhere significant. Entering the neighborhood and staring right outside my window, a surge of fear emerged in the pit of my stomach. I attempt to ignore this fear, this presence, but it just keeps radiating throughout my body. My hands begin to shake. I become aware of my shallow breathing, my heart racing, and the tightness starts to start in my chest, as if a heart attack was bound to happen. I attempt to remind myself that I've been through this. I mean, I know I'm having a panic attack like I've had before, hundreds of times. But this feels different. My throat feels like it's closing. I start feeling light. And the thought that this feeling might be my last creeps in. Time slows down, and I look at my mom because the fear I am feeling at this moment feels like no other. The closest I have found to describe this fear, this anguish, is riding down the tallest roller coaster you can imagine. That adrenaline you feel, that makes you feel alive because you're experiencing such great emotions that must prove you're not dreaming. Well, once you come to a stop, you're happy that you did it, that you conquered that fear, and you want to do it all over again. Maybe. Well, my panic attacks commence with that feeling in your stomach, with the difference that I'm not strapped into any seatbelt that ensures my safety. I don't know when or even if it will ever stop. I cannot scream to let the tension out, so instead I allow it to expand within my trembling hands, my beating heart, and my overactive brain. Once it's over, I feel a hollow in the parts of my body that despair was inhabited. I feel limp and guilty for not having the strength to overcome these feelings sooner. And then the vicious cycle continues until life literally becomes anxiety. More specifically, I start counting days based on my next expected panic attack. Fear that the next time, that roller coaster will not come to a stop. We stop at a random person's house, a driveway, because even though we're a block away, I can no longer deal with these emotions that I'm feeling. And I see this fear in my mother's eyes that suggests she has no idea what to do next. And I don't blame her. I myself don't know what to do next. Dreading that I have no more energy to give in me, I call 911. And I fight to get words out of my trembling breath. The next moments become blurred. But I do remember running desperately inside my home, trying to find some familiarity that will calm me. I turn on the TV to distract my brain, and SpongeBob SquarePants was playing at the time, which was my favorite TV show. But not even his jokes could distract my body from what I was feeling. Unexpectedly, my older brother came to my room and gave me a profound hug. I felt my worries melt in the embrace, and my breath slowly regained pace. The hug was my answer. As you have heard, my name is Noriega, and I have suffered from an anxiety disorder since I was 10 years old. It started with anxiety about little things such as homework and tests. And then it turned into anxiety about anything and everything. It also turned into panic attacks that lasted from 10 seconds to 10 minutes. Years later, I became diagnosed with a panic disorder and then agoraphobia. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, panic disorder is an anxiety disorder characterized by unexpected episodes of intense fears, accompanied by physical symptoms. These episodes occur, quote, out of the blue, not in conjunction with the known fear or stressor. That is the direct definition. But these two are definitions of a panic disorder. individuals understand how difficult mental illnesses are. But even I forget the seriousness when my mind is not clouded with anxiety. Anxiety can be caused by many factors, such as chemical imbalances, environmental stressors, genetics, and/or trauma. Common symptoms include feeling nervousness, restless, or tense, having a sense of danger or impending panic, having an increased heart rate, breathing rapidly, sweating, and dizziness. Those are the common ones. But as you've heard, I've had panic attacks for a while, so I've experienced a handful. So these are the not so common symptoms. Racing thoughts, talking fast, which leads to stuttering, fear of anxiety itself, overgeneralization. This includes what if, and I'm not talking the what if Iron Man didn't die in the multi-universe. I'm talking about the what if I got up here and I fainted. The what if I blanked out completely, that I completely forgot how to speak. That what if. That even though you know it's not going to happen, it's still there. Perfectionism, stomach aches, which are not fun, being indecisive, which is an issue I struggle with a lot, and I thought it was a Libra thing, but it's not. Inability to swallow, avoidance, and dissociation. Many people believe an anxiety disorder is normal. Fear is a normal evolutionary response that secures our survival. But just like happiness and sadness and disgust. But when it starts recognizing ordinary moments as threats, that is when it becomes a problem and not an evolutionary gift. People tend to throw the word anxiety a lot, so it becomes easy to lose its actual significance. But an anxiety disorder has great power. To name a few, anxiety can cause dropping out of high school, having trouble keeping jobs, keeping relationships, depression, and more seriously, suicide. It's a type of chronic disease because it stays with the person. It continues to go in waves that are silent and active. Silent, and then active again. The solution to panic disorders, as I have found, and you're all waiting here to listen, simply does not exist. And if anyone ever tells you otherwise, that's a scam. I believe that mental illnesses require a special type of vigor because progress lies within ourselves, and that's hard. It's hard to constantly put in the effort, but before you even start practicing to reduce your anxiety, you have to be willing to improve, because that's how change starts. Again, I cannot give you solutions, but I can provide suggestions that work for me. A reminder that there is no clear technique that works for everyone. Dealing with an anxiety disorder takes time to construct that tool belt. So, let's start doing that. Let's focus on the suggestions that can be done right from your seat. So let's start with a breathing technique. It's called the 4-7-8, one of my favorites, and my family has probably heard all about this. So if you can do it with me, we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for a second, and exhale for 8. Okay, holding for 7 seconds was difficult. It takes practice. You can start with 4-4-4 if that works better for you. The next technique, one of my favorite actually, is called grounding, and that is called the 5-4-3-2-1. So it's 5 things you can see. Right now, I can see the teleprompter. I can see Jada's holding her book, which was really amazing. I can see Mr. Superman walking around. I can see the exits, and I can see Dylan waving. 5 great things I can see. 4 things you can touch. I can touch this remote. I can touch my bracelets. I can touch my hair. I'm touching the rug. 3 things you can hear. If you really focus and you really start putting your mind to it, you can hear someone's bracelet. You can hear someone scratching themselves. You can hear the laughter. 2 things you can smell. We can't smell anything right now. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but you can always put some perfume on, some air freshener will do. And then 1 thing you can taste. This can be your favorite piece of gum, a mint, your favorite food, anything. Just to get those 5 senses running. Get your body thinking other things aside from anxiety. Reading affirmations. This has been also one of my personal favorites lately. IAM especially is a great app that gives you daily affirmations. And sometimes telling yourself things is hard to believe, but when you're reading them constantly and repeating them to yourself, you kind of have to start believing them. You don't only have to read them, you can also say them. Sometimes I just like to be in my room and say, I am safe. I am strong. I am freaking amazing. The Superman power pose. This is a power pose that I like to do before presentations because it truly makes me feel like a superhero. If you just do this and close your eyes and imagine you're flying or doing anything, it makes you feel like you can truly do anything. You can also do distractions with games, talks, exercise to let go of that extra adrenaline you have, yoga, meditation, and hugs. Now, I want to focus on that, hugs. According to various research, when you hug, touch, or sit close to someone you love, your body releases hormones such as oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, and cortisol. For those of you who don't know what these hormones do, elevated oxytocin levels lead to the lessening of feelings of anger and loneliness. Elevated serotonin levels improve your mood and help regulate your sleep cycle. Endorphins are your body's natural pain relievers. Increased dopamine makes you feel happy. And cortisol is known as a stress hormone. So when you hug someone, that lowers that stress hormone. Crazy, right? To think that something so simple and free can give you so many benefits. Don't believe me? Well, I suggest we try it out ourselves. Look for someone around you, anyone, to hug. If you don't have that special someone, it's okay. You can hug yourself. Now, wait, hold on, sorry. I want you to hug that person for 10 seconds. We'll count together. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, keep holding it for other 10 seconds, but really feel it. All right, that's 20 seconds. So, how do you guys feel? I see a lot of smiles. You see that? Do you hear that? You hear that laughter? It's working. A 10-second hug helps the body fight infections and eases depression. A 20-second hug reduces the harmful effects of stress, relieves blood pressure, and ensures a healthy heart. So not only do you feel emotionally better, but you are physically healthier right now. I want to remind people that this technique you can choose to lower your anxiety, or any other technique you choose, is validated. I mean, true crime relaxes me. Yes, I feel less anxious when I'm listening to murder cases and mysteries. Weird for some, but again, that works for me. I also want to mention a suggestion that remains clouded with judgment. Medication. Yes, The type that when people hear you're consuming, automatically label you as unwell, unstable, and picture you mad as the Mad Hatter. For the longest, I felt like a coward for taking medication to reduce my anxiety because it was a constant reminder that I couldn't conquer it all, and that maybe people were right. Maybe I wasn't normal. Maybe I would never be normal. This mentality declined my ability to truly feel at ease with myself. Even when I was feeling calm, I felt upset because I believed that that was not due to my own efforts. The new sense of calmness also made me feel like a stranger because I was not allowing myself to adjust. All because of my guilt. It's ironic how once I started feeling at peace, I also started feeling guilty for feeling at peace. But I was looking at it in the wrong way. Medication only helped that chemical imbalance that was occurring in my brain. It wasn't the true fighter. I was the true fighter. Because I decided to do something for my health every single day. I had explored techniques that worked, like getting hugs. I was the one willing to do the work. It wasn't just a magic pill that took all these symptoms away. With anxiety disorders, it is important not to lose track of what you have done right. What worked for you? Don't lose track of the effort. Progress does not always look like a straight line going forward. I may not be able to solve your anxiety or anyone's anxiety disorder for that sake, but I can ensure that things will get better eventually. If you're willing to take care of yourself, to be kind to yourself, to explore what makes you feel less anxious without any judgment. And if you ever feel like words lack emotional response, turn to the people you love and hug them tight, because that might just work for you too.